Welcome back, everybody, to Thoughts from the Round Table. I'm Jacob,
I'm Pierce.
and today we're going to be talking about this subject is very important to both of us as registered gamers. We're doing our top 5 video games ever. Few things have, other than like movies and TV, few things have changed my life in the way video games have. I gained a lot of friends from playing online video games, and we're going to talk about video games.
Yeah, I think video games have like a very profound impact on so many people's lives that doesn't really get talked about enough in a respected manner. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's a lot of people talk about sports impacting their lives, and everyone's like, yay, you did really good, you did sports.
Yeah.
But whenever someone brings up like gamer,
Yeah.
because it's a meme and because it's so like,
I think it's because it's new.
yeah,
One day I think we'll look at it the way we look at sports, just because of how many, like our generation especially, and like a few years older, was really the generation that online gaming became actually pleasable. Like, you could actually do it,
yeah,
because people were getting fast internet. It wasn't just people who lived in cities. Now everyone had internet. And, we've seen countless people talk about how much they loved playing Xbox Live,
yeah.
I think we'll see that.
And I mean, before like we jump right in, I do want to say, like, I was the other day, restaurants are reopening, in the midst of this crisis, and I went to Buffalo Wild Wings with a group of friends, and Buffalo Wild Wings very overpriced. That's another story.
Very overrated in
But
general.
in general, it's pretty crappy restaurant. But if any of you have been to a Buffalo Wild Wings, you know that on the screens it's a bunch of sports games that's happening. That's the environment that restaurant has. And because of this crisis, sports are canceled. And what do they have playing? It's streams of games. It's streams of video games. 2K, Madden. Like professional gamers are playing these things, and I think I think this crisis might bring about a more respect for a lot of like the gaming community at large.
Yeah, just before, like, one more note, ESPN is now playing like live esports as part of their content, which is kind of wild.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool for sure.
All right, so with like that little introduction, please join us at the roundtable.
So I'll just go ahead and start off for us. My first game that I'm going to talk about is the one that really brought me into gaming, and that's Pokemon Leaf Green. Now, I have many stories about my Game Boy, seeing how it was the first console I owned. I lost 4 of them before I turned 8.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thanks to my parents for keeping buying them. But I never lost Pokemon Leaf Green, and that was also where I developed my temper when gaming, because my mom, shout out mom, took away my Game Boy because I couldn't beat a gym leader, and I threw my Game Boy. So she took it away for a week, and I was mad at her. But yeah, me and my brother used to play the Pokemon games all the time, and that was like a real bonding thing for us, was playing Pokemon. Like, we wanted to get, we always wanted to get the connectors, because this is before the DS where they had the wireless connection. You had to get the connectors, and we had them so we could trade Pokemon. And it was awesome. And few games still bring back nostalgia like Pokemon does.
I think that's such like a big factor in choosing like a list kind of like this, is nostalgia.
Yeah.
When it comes to gaming. That's my first game that I'm going to talk about here is Star Wars Battlefront 2 for 2005? Did that come out from?
I think so.
And I'm going to actually break this game into kind of a two-piece, because I want to talk about Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005, and I also want to talk about the game that came out in 2017?
I think so.
The new version of Star Wars Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005 really brought me into gaming, because when I was a kid, especially when I was a kid, I had this desire to be nerdy, but a reluctance to be nerdy. And anyone who knows me now knows that has completely changed. But I would try my best to like find something cool and find something like I wore sports jerseys every day, even though I didn't ever watch a game, but I pretended I did to try to fit in with people. But Star Wars Battlefront 2 was that game that was kind of cool to play when you were back then. It was the game that like all my friends had. We'd go over to each other's houses and we played Star Wars Battlefront 2. And no one felt like a nerd playing it, which I think is a very big difference too if you played the new version of Battlefront 2.
True.
But eventually, I grew past that, and I think that was just like a kid thing for me. But Star Wars Battlefront 2 was a fantastic introduction to gaming for me, I think, because it allowed me to, I don't know. I think the thing is when you play with like a close group of friends in a basement, is there's a real
camaraderie.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds, it's like, we mentioned how it's like, people talk about playing sports is what changed them. Like playing video games, there's a real camaraderie, like you're on a team.
It can shape like your childhood.
Yeah.
My childhood was built on gaming. Like legitimately, from that point on, my friend group, that's what we would do. We do cool things too, like shoot each other with airsoft guns. But I mean, all in all, if it's a weekend, we're over at someone's basement playing video games.
Yeah. I think that's what our generation is going to have a lot of memories of going to each other's houses legitimately for the purpose of playing video games.
And I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about the new Star Wars Battlefront 2, because honestly, I can't critique 2005. I'm blinded by nostalgia, and also I don't really remember the game, besides that I loved it. This new one I got as a bona fide nerd and Star Wars lover, and I got it for the sole purpose of playing a Star Wars game with my friends. Online. And the game sucked. Like, it was truly horrible from launch. And I think that this game had it had so much potential, and it realized a lot of that potential later on. This game went through the biggest resurgence of any game I've ever played in my entire life. From going from the worst of the worst at launch to ending the game just last week, ending live support of the game, and it becoming nothing like it was at launch. It reunited a broken fan base, which I think a very few games can say that they launched to fans hating each other and hating the game, and ended with everyone in kind of agreement that this was pretty cool. In all honesty, they had a lot of great ads, a lot of great DLC that saved the game, and making that DLC free, getting rid of microtransactions completely, and making all DLC free, so that when you bought a $60 game, you're not buying a half-finished product and then having to pay to finish the game yourself. You're buying a half-finished product that's gonna get finished later.
Yeah.
And I think that that's better precedent, because a lot of the time at that time in gaming, you'd buy a $60 game and then you'd have to pay yourself to complete it.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous. So I think that kind of embodies a lot of the Star Wars fan base. I mean, the Star Wars fan base has got a lot of animosity. And so a game that can kind of unite them is pretty impressive. So whether you like it, whether you hate it, whether you're just fine with it, it's a pretty cool comeback story.
Yeah. My next game is one that didn't come back at all. Mostly because it never had an update, because updates weren't that cool back then. That's Wii Sports. This is, I would say, the ultimate party game. And I'm ready to put my foot down and say it is the ultimate party game. It's so easy to play. Anyone could do it. It turned people who weren't really gamers into gamers. Like, in my opinion, that's what the Wii did.
That's so true.
Because everyone had a Wii, and I have countless memories of playing Wii bowling tournaments and constantly losing because I was awful at it. But you could pick up Wii Sports, anyone who's played a video game before, and play it, and it came with the Wii consoles, so everyone had it. And I don't think there are many games that brought so many people together like Wii Sports did, just because of the simplicity behind it.
I think that's really fair. I mean, I was one of the 0.2% of the population that didn't buy a Wii, but I have so many memories on Wii Sports.
It's so simple, like just the way they made it so it would be simple, so that people of all ages could play it. Like I played it with my mama, we played it with everyone because all you had to do was turn on the controller and press two buttons.
I think there's an argument for that the Wii is the greatest console ever created.
It's so good.
There has not been another console that has bridged the gap between all ages of people ever.
Yeah, I agree.
There's something profound about how simplistic it is, how you can hand someone a Wiimote and just they already know what everything does. That's not something a lot of other games and game systems have.
Yeah, and honestly, like the design even was kind of flawed. Like they had so many different generations of the Wii because they knew like our first product probably could have been better. Like they added the Wii Motion Plus and whatnot, and that made the Wii remote better and everything. So, but just everyone had it. I don't know any like other than you, but I didn't know you back then.
Yeah.
But everyone I knew had a Wii. And it had the Wii had good games in general.
Dude, the Wii popped off with its game library. Yeah, I remember being so jealous of people with Wiis.
It was kind of loaded. It's still like loaded. Like I still have a Wii, and like I would go back and play Wii games.
The next game I kind of want to talk about is a game that I don't really care about too much, to be totally frank with you. But it is definitely like kind of an iconic game in my life, as in it introduced me to my favorite genre of games, and that's open world genres, and that was Assassin's Creed Origins. I played this game a while ago. I don't remember the year. It was definitely later than it came out, but I was pretty much set back then as being a Call of Duty gamer, if you could call it that. I was trying to hit trick shots and on multiplayer matches. And it wasn't until Assassin's Creed Origins that kind of opened me up to that there are other types of games in this world, and that there are sprawling universes to explore in games. And not only that, but also like incredible history. And I know that the Assassin's Creed games are not historically accurate, even a little. But what they are accurate in is depictions of the historical setting. And there is no game that exists that depicts Egypt as well as Assassin's Creed Origins. It had an amazing combat system. It had a great story. It was the game that bridged the Assassin's Creed from being just a linear experience to an open world experience, but not losing that Assassin's Creed story. And I think that was very impressive, because Odyssey, as much as a lot of people love it, it lost that story element. Like being able to pick your own character and not following a set protagonist. That diminishes what makes Assassin's Creed Assassin's Creed. And so I have a lot of appreciation for Origins for introducing me to that type of game.
Yeah, my favorite Assassin's Creed game was Assassin's Creed 3, because it was about America. Not really. I just really liked that game. I liked that you could kill bears. That was my favorite thing to do. But yeah, Assassin's Creed games are really cool, but I never really got into 1 and 2. I think I owned them, but I never really played them because they didn't have the open world feel. Like Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 was like pretty good story, but then they kind of hit their stride after that, because everyone loves Black Flag too.
Yeah.
And like 3, Black Flag, and then Origins, I think, were like the ones they released after that. And they were like, those are everyone's favorites.
Yeah, it just kept expanding. 3 like opened up like kind of an open world.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 4 was like, this is an open world, but it's still a linear way you have to explore the open world. And then Origins was, this is an open world, this is an RPG, do whatever you want. But it somehow managed to do that and keep a linear story, which is so impressive to me.
Yeah. So my next one, you just talked about being a Call of Duty gamer. My life, I feel like, would not be the same if not for Black Ops 2. And I think all people, our generation, hold that game in the same regard as I do. As like, this is how I hung out with my friends after school. I remember like vividly, snow days, we would go and all text each other and be like, hop on, let's play some Black Ops 2. And we'd get full lobbies of search and destroy. And that's what we'd play. And we'd do it for hours. And even after that, like, I think Ghost came out after that. None of us were interested in that. We just wanted to play Black Ops 2. And we went through, literally, I think we had 3 discs of Black Ops 2. Because I always wanted to play it, and Jonathan always wanted to play it. And then we had one for my dad's house. because all we wanted to do was play Black Ops 2. Like I have just countless memories, whether it be like the multiplayer, zombies, whatever. Even like honestly, the game was fine. It's just the fact that like you could talk to people. Like we'd hang out. I met like a ton of people. Well, I shouldn't say met them, but like I became better friends with a ton of people because we played Black Ops 2 together.
And I mean, talk about like a local party game.
Oh,
amazing. The split screen in that game
great.
Was my entire life. Like you said, like hop on. That was my friend group, except we'd just all go over to one person's house and we'd play split screen.
Yeah.
It was an incredible experience.
Pierce and I still play split screen Black
Dude,
Ops 2.
It's fun.
It's so much fun.
Not a better gun game in the entire Call of Duty library.
True. And the zombies are great. I think that's like, from all the people who like zombies, they're like, oh, Black Ops 1 is better. Listen, nerds. Black Ops 2 is the best Call of Duty game ever created. Change my mind. Give me a sign and the meme and set it up, and I'm putting my foot down about that.
Bridging from my previous point about open world games, Assassin's Creed Origins was the game that introduced me. Red Dead Redemption 2 was the game that perfected the genre, in my opinion. And this is going to be a controversial opinion, but I genuinely think that Red Dead Redemption 2 is the best game I have ever played. Not my favorite game, but definitely the most well done. The best story, the best combat, the best world building. Everything was in this game to make it work. You could play this game any way you could possibly imagine. It is the most immersive cowboy game you will ever find, and I doubt in my mind that it will ever be beat. I got the game kind of not really being interested in the Red Dead series. I played Red Dead Redemption 1 kind of. I got it from Family Video. I rented it. And
the good old days.
Yeah. and I rode around on my horse, Buttermilk. That's what I named it. But this game kind of grabbed me by the balls and twisted. You know what I mean? I just kind of went into it not expecting a lot. Expecting a fun game, but not what I got. Everything was so real. From the very first moment when you're trudging through the snow and your boots made a perfect indent in the snow, or when your horse brushed against the side of a snow-covered tree and the snow would fall and coat your arms, but not like it would fall on you and then your arms would instantly become snowy. It would fall and stick on your arms, and then you'd ride and it would go off. It was so immersive, it blew me away, and I just kept playing, and it just kept getting more and more and more. Everything in that game was so much better than the last thing you did in that game. The story was so gripping. One, it was excellently voiced. Everyone in that game was just a real talent, because a lot of times when you're in a video game story, the weakest part is the voice acting and the cutscenes and the stuff, because it's a game. And this didn't feel like a game. This felt like you were playing a movie. Like you were controlling the main character in a movie, and it looked like that. It was such a weird experience to go from a cutscene, and then the camera just kind of pans out, and it's you, and then you're there. And it doesn't degrade the quality. Your cutscene is not like a finely rendered movie. It's the game. And I can tell you, like, I'm not going to spoil any bits of the story because the story is an emotional roller coaster. I cried 3 times playing a story. The only time I've ever cried in a video game was in that game, and I bawled, like ugly cried. It had such a connection to me. Also, like, the game itself was just, there's so much to do. I played that game, after I finished the story, I played that game for weeks. Because what? Maybe I wanted to just take a trip one night. Maybe I wanted to ride my horse out, lasso him attach him to a tree, go out with my rifle, and hunt. I could do it.
Yeah. And
it would be super immersive. I think the immersion in that game was the best I've ever felt, and that's why that game had just a profound impact on me.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about voice acting and crying during games. So I have two things to say. One, I think we're seeing a shift in how games are voice acted because they're being taken more seriously. And the money's there now too.
True.
So like you're getting professional voice actors to like voice games now, not just kind of schmoes off the street. And like I've heard the Spider-Man game is like excellently voice acted. Like the newest one.
Yeah.
Like I've heard it's like some of the best voice acting in a game. And yeah, I've also cried during a video game. Mine's a little more embarrassing. I got really into Gears of War. And I played through the campaigns, probably 6 or 7 times. And the third one, his best friend dies. And it gets me every time. Every time I tear up a little bit. First time it was kind of an uglier cry. But every time I kind of tear up a little bit. But in my defense, got really into the lore of Gears of War. They had like a couple books, and they were long, like adult books. And when I was like 12, I read them all in like a couple days. So like I got really into it when really there was no reason to. I just really like those games.
Well, I think getting into things like that definitely leave more of an impact on you. Like, if you were to get into the lore of a game and really dive into it, it's just like when you dive into a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
You get attached.
Yeah. I got attached to those characters because they're the same ones every time. It's
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing where gaming is being, like I said, being taken a lot more seriously. And a lot more thought is being put into stories.
Yeah. I think gaming wasn't at all when it first started taking popularity. It was not a way to tell compelling stories. I think that's completely changed.
Oh, I
think
too.
with games like The Last of Us, Red Dead 2, there was another one, Detroit Become Human. I think we're seeing games take a way more artistic stance and be actually respected as mediums to communicate a story. Because I feel like before, people with good ideas for like a story, or like if you had a banger idea, like say you came up with Detroit Become Human, where would you think to publish that? Perhaps a TV show. Perhaps, if you can manage it, a major motion picture. If you can't get either of those, a good book. No one thought, I'm going to make this a game.
Right. But now I think that's one of the better options.
Yeah.
I mean, just the way how many people play it, you're going to reach a huge audience. Because I would love to see the amount of people who've played video games in the last year compared to the amount of people who's read a book in the last year.
True.
True.
Like,
if you want to get a story across, I think it's so immersive, It's unlike, I can't really describe it, but it's not like watching a TV show or a movie.
Yeah.
You're the one doing it. Especially with like more open world games that have like choose your own adventure, essentially.
Mm.
You're the one making the decisions and deciding the story.
That's fair.
My next game doesn't have that. And it's a sports game. And when I was thinking of this list, I was between two. The one I didn't choose that deserves an honorable mention is NBA 2K15. Because that's really the game that got me into basketball games. And I played a lot of it. And that's pretty much it. But the game I went with was Madden 09. And specifically one game mode, and that's Big Head 5-on-5. There are 4 plays you run. Everyone has a huge noggin. And you just play as the NFL teams. And, they're 5-minute games, if that. It's the first person to 5. It's halfway chance-based. But I'm a big fan of party games. Anything you can do with more people. And, let's say you got a ton of people over. Maybe they've never played a sports game before. Which happens, This game is simple enough where you don't, like other football games, you have to know plays, you have to know defenses, you have to know who's playing, what these people are good at. Not with this game. You press a button and chuck the Wii remote. And I played this game for countless hours with me and my dad and my brother and my sister, who now plays it a good amount and wins all the time. But just the simplicity of it, I feel like we've talked about these great games that have, well, Pierce has really talked about these great games that have lots of depth to them and a story. But what's great about video games, you also have the dumb ones for people like me who forget stories. And, it's just a way to like dumb down and really just build relationships with people.
Yeah. I think that's very true. I think if you've watched any of our top 10 lists, you know that me and Jacob have a very different way of looking at some of the things that we enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the greatest things about all the things we've talked about, is how there's something out there for everyone, and that everyone can enjoy, and that everyone should respect. I'm definitely more of a story-based game person. I've been that way for a long time, actually ever since after Call of Duty games. But and he actually mentioned the Spider-Man game, which is what I'm going to talk about next. And I'm going to be honest, when I first started this list, and we were talking about it right before this podcast, I told Jacob I was going to talk about Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to talk about a game with tight controls. I blanked on Spider-Man. And if we're talking about tight controls, Spider-Man for the PS4 is the best example of that ever, I think, in a Spider-Man game for sure. A superhero game, it's top of the line. This is the game that got me to buy a PS4, because I was an Xbox gamer. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had the Xbone.
Still, just a little side note here. I am still an Xbone gamer.
Yeah. And I had no plans on changing. I liked my Xbox. I still do. Xbox is a great console. It had a very nice controller.
That's true.
But Spider-Man came out, and I saw the first trailer, and I saw the white spider, and I said, nope, not for me. Pass. Then I started seeing gameplay footage, and I said, oh, wait, maybe for me. And then I started following the game really closely. And it got to a point where when the game dropped and came out, and I was so saddened by the fact that I wouldn't be able to experience this firsthand, because I went to my friend Colin's house, and we played it. And I got halfway through the story at his house because I didn't stop. And so I went out and I said, you know what, I've been saving money, I'm just going to spend it. And I bought myself a PlayStation 4, and I bought myself Spider-Man 4. And it was probably one of the better gaming decisions ever. Spider-Man 4, not only is it the definitive Spider-Man for me, it is probably the best linear-based game ever that I've played. And let me break down a couple of reasons why. A lot of people have their own favorite Spider-Man, Some people cite Tobey Maguire. Some people cite Andrew Garfield. Those people are wrong. I don't usually disrespect people, but anyone who thinks that Andrew Garfield is the definitive Spider-Man might need to watch another Spider-Man movie.
They've only seen those two.
Yeah. Some people think Tom Holland is. I don't. But
wrong again.
For a long time, my actual definitive Spider-Man was an old cartoon series called The Spectacular Spider-Man. It was a show that was written directly by Stan Lee, and it felt like it really understood Spider-Man. And ever since then, I've kind of not felt like anything's really understood that character, because it's a very deep character. Spider-Man PS4 knocked it out of the ballpark. The people in that, you could tell, were just so passionate about not only the character of Spider-Man, but the character of Peter Parker. His complexities, his failings as a person, how he can't. It was amazing to see so much passion put into a project. And like I said, talking about tight controls, gosh, there is nothing like swinging through New York City in that game. I still do it. I've beat the game 4 times now. I've 100%ed everything, including the DLC, 2 times now. I still get back on this game, and I swing. Just swing. Because it feels so good. The game is really expertly crafted. If you haven't played Spider-Man PS4, it's worth buying an entire console for that singular game.
Yeah, everyone who I've heard talk about it says it's like one of the best, if not the best game they've ever played.
I think there's an argument for it. Well, I don't really think it could be the best game. It's top 2. It's second to me, because it just it hits so different.
Our last game is one. Usually with these lists, if you couldn't tell, we try to not pick the same things. But this last one I feel like is too important for both of us. Where I can't not talk about it. And that's Minecraft. Now I started off as the pleb Minecraft gamer on the Xbox 360. You know, we didn't have a nice enough computer. I really wanted one, but poor people got poor ways. So we played on the Xbox 360. It's how I convinced my mom to get Xbox Live so I could play with my friends. Mostly, pretty much so I could download Minecraft. I told her that you had to get the gold version. We played Minecraft all the time. We had 6 or 7 worlds where we tried to go to the end every time. We were awful, not good builders. Still to this day, I go back and look at the worlds. They're embarrassing, but that's okay. But, you know, even now, like, Pierce and I in college played Minecraft all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's a timeless game, and if you can't tell by now, I like simple things. I'm a simple man. It doesn't really, you know, it doesn't have a story. I mean, they tried to make Minecraft story mode. Not my thing. It's just like you can be so creative with Minecraft. It's super cheap. There are no add-ons to it that cost money. It's all user created, you know. You have different game modes like with different servers. Few games, if actually I'm going to say it. No games bring me joy and have such a timeless, I don't know, feel to them as Minecraft does.
I couldn't agree more. Minecraft for me will always be my number one game. Like I said, Red Dead I think is the best game I've ever played. Mechanically, logically. But it's never going to be my favorite game. It's Minecraft, and I don't think any game, I will say it, no game will ever top it for me. And I don't think that's like a stretch to say. I started Minecraft when I had an iPod Touch. I played Minecraft from this will tell you how old. I built my first house out of gravel when gravel didn't fall. And then I logged in when they updated it, and my entire house fell down. But I played Minecraft for back on the iPod Touch. I played it on the Pocket Edition Lite. Then I downloaded the Pocket Edition Premium, and I thought that this is the peak of gaming.
Who didn't, though?
Yeah.
Who didn't? I did at that time, too. I was like, this is it.
Then I got the Xbox 360 version, just like Jacob. And I was like, holy crap, now this is the peak of gaming. This has done it. Like the old, I can't even play on my Pocket Edition anymore. This is truly advanced. Then, I always wanted to play it on the PC. I always wanted the Java edition of Minecraft. And finally, we had a piece of trash laptop. And I finally convinced my mom to get our first computer that had any bit of worth. It was a MacBook. And it could play Minecraft at 45 frames per second. And I thought that my life could not get better. And I'm here to say that it probably couldn't. Minecraft PC brought me so much joy. Jacob talked about games that connect you with friends, connect you with people. Minecraft connected me with not just my friend group, my immediate friend group here, but connected me with friends across the globe. I had friends that I would get on to talk to who were Australian, who were Japanese. I had a friend from Germany. And I have never felt so immersed in culture. This is going to sound so stupid because it's a block game. Yeah. It's a simple block game. And that's what makes it work. It's because, like, if you're playing, like, a Call of Duty game and you're talking with people, I'm not going to try to degrade those kind of relationships. But it's like almost like that's a game where you talk about the game that you're playing. You're like, oh, we got people here. We got someone coming on A or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Minecraft is just people talking to people. And it was such a connection to it really helped me, one, become way more social than I was. I mean, there's so many good memories with Minecraft from the days where I would spend my entire summer break playing Minecraft when I had a friend who made me schedule my meals so that we could play Minecraft for the peak amount of time. It just it's a game that never dies, like you said.
Yeah, I think also one of the big things about Minecraft for me was the YouTube channel aspect of it. You know, we would get together and watch, like me and my friends who played Minecraft, we would all watch Minecraft YouTube videos together because, like, we just loved the game and we loved, like, what the game created. It created this community of people who got together and played with blocks. But, like, it's so much more than, like, from someone who's never played a video game, if they looked and be like, oh, this is a block game, you can build things, that's cool. It's just like Legos. But it's, like, so much more than that because, like, you do it with people. You have, like, it's great because there's no add-ons to the game that cost money. So if you're, like young when we started playing, we had Minecraft and that was it.
It's one $20 purchase.
Yeah, it was perfect. Few games do that. Have such constant amounts of enjoyment just with $25.99, $26.99 or whatever.
And the YouTube scene is actually, I mean, like you said, that's what introduced me to YouTube as a platform.
Me too.
I can confidently say that without Minecraft, I would not be sitting here making this video today. I wouldn't be talking about Minecraft. We wouldn't have the podcast, I don't think, without Minecraft.
I don't think so either.
Minecraft is what got, I think, a lot of people into the greater sphere of the internet. A lot of kids.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know a single one of my friends who didn't watch Minecraft videos.
Sky does Minecraft, Husky Mudkips,
B00, Generic B. I mean, the classics go on, I mean, forever. There's so much. And there was a time that I do want to talk about when Minecraft was looked on as a bad game. It was when it was cringy to play. Like, oh, what are you, a child to play? And then thanks to, I think, a combined effort from PewDiePie and from Call Me Carson with SMP Live,
yeah,
brought Minecraft back into a sphere where, oh wait, everyone kind of remembered, oh crap, this game was super fun.
Still is super fun, and now it's even more complex.
Yeah.
It's like, we talked about in all our Clone Wars podcasts, a show that grew with its audience. Minecraft is doing that too.
Yeah, continuing to.
Yeah.
I think everything about Minecraft really kind of like speaks to me as a person. It's a game with endless possibilities. You can play Minecraft as simple or as complex. I think that's the one thing about Minecraft that can go to every single audience, right? You can play Minecraft like a story game. Like, I'm here, my job is to beat the Ender Dragon, and then I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can play Minecraft like an engineer. Redstone is the most complex. I will probably say this. Redstone could be the most complex game mechanic in any game ever.
Oh, without a doubt. The amount of possibilities behind it are I'm sure there are still things out there that people don't understand about Redstone.
Oh, for sure.
Like, people built a computer out of Redstone.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Seeing what people do with Redstone is remarkable. And I mean you could laugh at that, or you could think like how many people have, like, if you play with Redstone in this game, you're not an idiot.
Especially if you create Redstone contraptions yourself,
you're a genius.
You're so much smarter than I am.
I mean, there's those memes that are like Redstone engineers with the ginormous brains, but it's like legitimately true. And then if you say you don't want to be technical in the game, oh wait, that literally doesn't matter. You don't have to be technical at all to beat the game. You don't have to be technical at all to have fun in the game.
No, you can just build stuff.
You can just build. Say you don't want to build something big and dramatic and deep. Okay, easy. You can have just as much fun.
Yeah.
Say you want to build a 2-scale replica of the cathedral. You can. Say you want to get extremely detailed and make a sprawling city with lore and economy. You can. There's no other game that lets you do this.
No.
There's no other game that offers you the amount of freedom that Minecraft offers you. If you are a goal-driven person, Like, if you can set your own goals, it is the perfect game for you. I think I logged probably on our first server when Minecraft came back.
Yeah.
I logged 17 days into that single world. And that's not at all when I was at my peak of the game. Like, I've probably put thousands and thousands and thousands of hours into it.
Yeah.
And I'd still play it. I still play it all the time.
As someone who gets burnt out, Pierce can, agree with me. I get burnt out crazy easy. Minecraft is one of the few games that's like, it's pretty much nearly impossible to burn out on.
Yeah.
Because there's so much you can do. You can get burnt out on building, so then go do something else. There's tons of stuff to do, and just the little complexities of it, like potion making.
Yeah.
Like enchanting, stuff like that. Like, it's simple at first, and then if you like want to try and figure it out, there's like countless internet charts of what different things you put together to make different potions, or what different things you put together to make different blocks.
And that's what's so great about the game, mostly because it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's there, which is lovely for the people who care about it. But if you don't care about it, you can play the game just as happily without it.
True.
It's like Skyrim, right? For me, Skyrim, you had to have potions to beat the game. And I could not get into potion making in Skyrim. I thought it was so lame. But it's essential, so I had to do it. I had to grind it out, and I had to do potions. Minecraft, I wasn't really into the potion making. I just never made a potion. And then, boom, I've still logged thousands of hours into it.
Yeah.
And played it successfully.
Yeah, you don't have to master it. You also, with this game, it's not like you have to master a certain set of skills to enjoy it. We talked about, it's simple. Like, if you're not interested in enchanting, like, there's thousands, it feels like thousands of different enchants. There's not that many. There's like a ton of different enchants. You can still play the game fine without ever enchanting anything.
Yeah. And I'm going to get really deep here for a second, because I think Minecraft deserves a level of respect. But I was listening to a podcast just today. It was Joe Rogan with Lex Friedman, and he was talking about, he's a real smart guy, and he was talking about how music is like a key, right? He says when he plays his guitar, even today, he's transported back to when he first learned to play his guitar when he was 12. When he's playing that, when he's making that sound, when he's making that music, it's like he's a 12-year-old kid making that music. And immediately when I thought there, I was like, this is my connection to Minecraft, right? This is, why do I still play this game like I do? Why do I still log in at least once a week and get on and build? Because that takes me back. It's like when I play a game now, like Spider-Man or Red Dead, I'm Pierce in the present. I'm analyzing, I'm like, looking at the story, I'm digging deep, I'm doing all this. When I play Minecraft, I log back in and I'm a 12-year-old. I'm there, I'm playing with my friends, I'm jumping around, building a block structure. It's like this deep expression of yourself that you can do with Minecraft. And I think that's one of those things that's unique to Minecraft, is because it's so creative and because it's so expressive. The way you build, your specific style of building, is unique to you and only you. And it helps connect you back to your past.
Yeah, it's we talked a little bit about nostalgia-filled games. I think Minecraft is the number one for me. Like, just looking back and thinking of all the memories I had playing Minecraft split screen on the Xbox with my friends. Like, we did it for hours, sitting there, drinking pop, eating popcorn, playing Minecraft. Like, few things I can remember from middle school as vividly as video games. And that's why video games will always hold a special place in my heart.
That's why I think that video games should not be looked down upon by older generations, as most of the time they are.
Yeah.
Because if you see, a lot of older people see video games as a waste of time.
True.
And I hope that stigma is eventually released. Because while they can be, just like while anything can be, a waste of time, how sports can be a waste of time, how writing can be a waste of time, how everything could be a waste of time depending on your perception of how that time should be used. It's not inherent to video games, and they are very beneficial for a lot of children.
Yeah.
They shape a lot of kids' lives. They shape my life.
Yeah.
And so I think with that,
thanks for joining us. You know, if you liked this podcast, if you like more stuff like about video games in general, let us know, because we love video games. And while you're letting us know, maybe you want to hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. Links below are there for that. And then obviously the Gamers Paradise, our Discord, it's below there too. So tell us what you guys' favorite video games are. If you're our age, I would assume yours might be pretty similar to ours.
Yeah.
Not the same exactly, but a lot of people from our age, love Minecraft, love Call of Duty, love Assassin's Creed. There's just so many different video games for so many different people. Like, we didn't even go into, like, some people really like mobile games and like have a strange attachment to puzzle games, psychopaths. So, tell us what you think.
And if you want, like he said, if you want more content talking about video games, and if you have any ideas of things that we should talk about in the genre, please just let us know down in the comments and leave us a good review.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening.
See you later.